Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. You're with Nicole, and if you're new here, I share lots of delicious homestyle recipes as well as baking tips and tricks. Today we're going to be making an absolutely delicious tomato tart. This tomato tart is full of flavor, it's super quick and easy to make, it's got some feta with some beautiful herbs on top, and it's just a really nice, light, easy meal. So let's get to it! For the base of this tomato tart, we are going to be using puff pastry. I absolutely love using puff pastry. It's such a versatile thing to use, and they're really great for sweet and savory, so you can mix it up. This one is a savory dish, so my savory friends, you will be happy. And the tomatoes we're using are super bright and colorful. We're gonna add some green in there. I've got some herbs from the garden. It's gonna look absolutely beautiful. And the best thing is, it's so easy to make. So let me show you what you are gonna need. So I have a sheet of puff pastry here. If you wanna do more, you just need to double this recipe. I've got some mixed tomatoes here. I have some egg wash, so that is some egg and some water whisked together. I've got some fresh basil, it smells so beautiful and aromatic. I've got some Persian feta here. You can use any feta that you like, and this one has been marinated in some nice oils. So it looks and smells beautiful. And here is some poppy seeds, which are just going to contrast with the red and the green nicely. Then we've got some salt, pepper to taste. We're going to drizzle it with some olive oil, and I'm just going to be using this oil to coat the base of our baking tray. You guys are going to need to preheat your oven, turn it on and get it cranking, 200 degrees Celsius or about 390 degrees Fahrenheit. I've also got a couple of baking trays going on here. One we're just going to use for the puff pastry, the other one I'm just going to dry out those tomatoes a little bit, so I actually have some absorbent paper towel on my baking tray. So go ahead, do that, get that ready, and then with this one, I'm just going to coat this with a little bit of oil right now, just some spray oil, just very lightly. Perfect. And that is just so that this puff pastry doesn't stick to the parchment paper. With our puff pastry here, grab a fork and we're just going to go ahead and start pricking the base all over. And you want to leave a little bit of an edge or a rim around the sides, so don't go all the way because this is going to puff up and look absolutely beautiful. Take the puff pastry off the plastic at the back here. So our puff pastry here has obviously defrosted as well. So this now can go straight onto our tray. Just like so. That can go off to the side now to wait for our tomatoes. So now it's time to prep the tomatoes. I am going to use a variety of different colors, and we're just going to slice them nice and thinly. So with the tomatoes, I've just gone for a few different shapes, sizes and colors, just to give it a little bit of contrast and make it look really nice and interesting. So now just place these tomatoes on our tray here and on the absorbent towel. We're just gonna try and get a little bit of that moisture out because we want the base of this puff pastry to be nice and crispy and tasty. So I'm just gonna press down on these tomatoes now and get rid of that moisture. And look how much is coming out already. This is crazy. If you lose some of the seeds from your little grape or cherry tomatoes, that's okay, don't worry about it. This is gonna be full of flavor. Okay, so go ahead, start grabbing these tomatoes and placing them on our puff pastry. And just go ahead and scatter them around. Doesn't have to be perfect, just however you think looks nice. So it looks like a little bit of an overkill on the tomatoes, but don't worry, they are going to shrink and shrivel. And it's gonna look really nice as well with all the different layers and colors and textures. So that looks great at the moment. We've got enough here, it covers the base fully. So now what we need to do is grab our egg wash here, grab a brush, and we are going to go around that rim that we left and coat it with this egg wash. So I am going to now just give it a little bit of a kiss with some herbs and some feta. Don't use it all up now though, because I am going to put some fresh stuff on the top again at the end. So just grab a few bits of some basil. Oh my gosh, it smells so incredible. Just scatter that on. I really love having fresh herbs straight from the garden. They're just so fresh, so tasty. If you can make a little veggie patch or have something at home where you can have some fresh herbs, it really is awesome. Okay, with my feta here, I'm just going to grab some of this and start crumbling it on top. Now we've got some things here to make it go that extra mile. So I've just got those poppy seeds. I'm just going to sprinkle them on top. It's already looking so nice. Can never forget salt and pepper. So a little bit of a grind of some salt and pepper on top. You can just do this to taste. And then I'm just going to drizzle the tiniest bit of olive oil on now, and then I will do it again at the end once it's ready and fresh out of the oven. But just a really light drizzle. So fresh, so delicious. Into the oven now on that high temperature. We're going to check it at about 20 minutes, see how it's going. It's probably going to need another 10 to 20 minutes, so check it at halfway. Look what we have here. This has puffed up around the edges perfectly. This is exactly what we want. Now, I did lie to you before. It doesn't need to go in for another 10 to 20 minutes. Today, this one cooked really, really quickly, maybe because it had already defrosted. I'm not quite sure. So it was 20 minutes in total. But essentially, you just want to cook it in the oven until it's puffed around the sides. It's nice and golden. It's got a little bit of brown, and it looks super delicious to make. You also want to eat, not make. You also just want to have a look at the base and check that that has been cooked too, like that. Nice and brown, so it's not soggy. We want it to be nice and crunchy. So now we're just going to add a few more of those ingredients again, just getting it really looking very appetizing. So a few more bits of fresh basil on top. So this makes a really nice summer dish. Super easy to make. It's just like a really light meal. You can have it as a side. It's almost like kind of like a pizza, but yummier. Super easy to make, but it looks pro. The white and the green and the red look so pretty. A little bit more poppy seeds, a little tiny bit more salt, a little bit more pepper. Last but not least, give it a nice drizzle with some olive oil. And there we have our tomato tart, ripe for eating. So you can go ahead and chop this however you like. I'm gonna do pretty big slices today. Oh, sounds so crunchy. It's gonna be good. Let's give it a whirl, shall we? Those tomatoes smell so beautiful. I love tomatoes. Sometimes I just have tomato on toast. I don't know, is that weird? Anyway. Yeah. This is really delicious. There's just so much flavor. Flavorful from those tomatoes. It just pops. All those little bursts, and we've got a few different types of tomatoes here too. So literally you bite into it and then the tomatoes just burst with flavor. Then you've got the basil and it's really delicious, it's really subtle. Even though we've got a lot here, it smells really nice, and you know, tomato, basil, feta, they're all just best friends. So we got the crunchiness from the puff pastry, we've got some creaminess from the feta. This is a super delicious, super easy, but gourmet looking light meal. Besides, anything with pastry in it, you know it's gonna be good. I've kept mine nice and simple today, just to let those flavors come through. But if you did want to add a few more elements to it, something else that works really well is some balsamic. If you want to drizzle that on top, that would work really nicely. You can also put some chili flakes on it too and give those tomatoes a little bit of a hot burst. I'm going to enjoy eating the rest of my lunch here. I really do hope that you love this recipe. As I said, it's a really easy one to make, super quick, super delicious, and looks fantastic too. If you do like this video, please do give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell as well. It really does help support my channel, and I have a new video coming out every single week, so don't miss out. Thanks again, and I'll see you again next week. Bye!
Check.
Mic check, mic check, 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 checkity check.
What's your name?
What's my name? I don't know.